The crystal vase shattered against the marble floor, silence swept through the mansion, the young maid stood frozen, trembling as expensive flowers scattered around her feet. Across the room, the billionaire's fiancée slowly clapped. "Congratulations," she said with a cruel smile. "You've lasted 3 days. That's longer than the last one." The maid lowered her eyes. "I'm sorry, ma'am." "Sorry doesn't replace imported crystal," the fiancé replied coldly. "Pack your things. You're finished." No one spoke. The butler looked away, the housekeeper quietly sighed. Another maid had lasted less than a week. She was the 23rd employee to quit that year. Everyone believed the mansion was cursed. It wasn't. The problem wasn't the house. It was the woman who believed kindness was weakness. Then, one bright Monday morning, a new maid arrived. She was in her late 50s. Her gray hair was neatly tied into a simple bun. She carried one small suitcase. She smiled warmly at everyone she met. Her name was Evelyn Brooks. By the end of the week, the billionaire's fiancé would discover she had finally met the one woman who would never break. Before we continue, if you believe respect should never depend on someone's job title, please like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes kindness still matters, and subscribe to the Kindness Legacy for more unforgettable stories where compassion changes lives forever. Nathan Sterling had built one of the country's largest luxury hotel companies from a single roadside motel his parents once owned. At 48, magazines called him a visionary, investors admired his leadership, and charities praised his generosity. Yet because his business required constant travel, he rarely spent more than a few days each month inside his own mansion. 2 years earlier, Nathan became engaged to Vanessa Hartley, a former fashion influencer admired for her elegance and confidence. At first, everyone believed they were the perfect couple. That illusion didn't last. The moment Nathan left on business trips, Vanessa transformed the mansion into a place ruled by fear. Nothing was ever clean enough, nothing was ever fast enough. A crooked picture frame became a reason for public humiliation. A cup placed an inch too far from the table's edge became an excuse to fire someone. She criticized accents. She mocked old uniforms. She laughed whenever a maid cried. One by one, employees resigned. Some left quietly, some left in tears. The mansion developed a reputation across every employment agency. No one wanted the job anymore. When Evelyn Brooks accepted the position, even the agency manager warned her, "You probably won't last a week." Evelyn simply smiled. "I've survived much harder things." No one knew her story. 20 years earlier, Evelyn had served as director of hospitality for one of Europe's most prestigious luxury hotels. She had trained hundreds of managers and earned international awards for customer service and leadership. After losing her husband to illness, she retired from corporate life, choosing a quieter existence devoted to community volunteering and caring for elderly neighbors. When she heard about the mansion where employees were treated without dignity, she accepted the position for one reason: she believed every workplace deserved at least one person who refused to answer cruelty with cruelty. On her first morning, Vanessa deliberately spilled coffee across the dining room floor just after Evelyn had finished polishing it. "You missed a spot," Vanessa said. Evelyn smiled gently. "Then I'll clean it again." The second day, Vanessa criticized the flowers. The third day, she accused Evelyn of folding towels incorrectly. The fourth day, she demanded dinner be served twice because she suddenly claimed the first meal looked unhappy. Each time, Evelyn responded with calm professionalism, never defensive, never fearful, never angry. The other employees couldn't understand it. "How are you staying so calm?" the gardener whispered one afternoon. Evelyn smiled. "Because someone else's anger doesn't have to become my own." Weeks passed. Vanessa grew increasingly frustrated. Every maid before Evelyn had eventually cried, argued, or quit. Evelyn did none of those things. One afternoon, Nathan returned unexpectedly from an overseas business trip. He noticed something unusual. For the first time in years, the household staff looked relaxed, people were smiling, the kitchen felt peaceful, even the elderly butler laughed while preparing afternoon tea. Nathan asked quietly, "What changed?" Every employee gave the same answer: "Evelyn." Curious, Nathan began observing without announcing himself that he watched Evelyn help the young gardener learn proper table arrangements even though it wasn't her responsibility, that he saw her comfort a frightened kitchen assistant who had accidentally broken a plate, that he noticed every employee naturally gathering around her during lunch because she made everyone feel valued. Then came the evening that changed everything. Vanessa hosted an elegant charity dinner attended by politicians, celebrities, and business leaders. Just before guests arrived, she intentionally knocked an expensive porcelain serving bowl onto the floor. The bowl shattered. She immediately pointed at Evelyn. "You broke it." Everyone knew the truth. No one dared speak. Nathan had quietly entered through another doorway. He had seen everything. He walked into the dining room. "Interesting," he said calmly. Vanessa smiled confidently. "I've finally caught your impossible maid making mistakes." Nathan looked toward Evelyn. She remained silent, not because she was guilty, because she refused to accuse anyone. Nathan turned toward the home security monitor mounted in his office. Within minutes, the footage appeared on the dining room television. The recording clearly showed Vanessa pushing the bowl herself. The room became silent. Every guest watched. Vanessa's face turned pale. Nathan slowly looked around the room. "For 2 years," he said quietly, "I believed good employees simply couldn't be found." He paused. The truth was, they couldn't survive here. He turned toward Vanessa. "I can forgive mistakes. I cannot accept cruelty." That evening, Nathan ended the engagement, not because of a broken bowl, because character matters more than appearances. In the weeks that followed, Nathan invited every former employee who had resigned to a reunion luncheon. He apologized personally. Many returned. Those who had already found new careers received glowing recommendation letters written by Nathan himself. Then he made one final announcement. Evelyn Brooks would become director of household operations, not because she demanded authority, but because she had earned everyone's trust. She accepted with one condition: no employee should ever be afraid to come to work. Nathan smiled. Agreed. Months later, the mansion had completely changed. New employees stayed, laughter returned to the hallways, birthdays were celebrated, staff meetings ended with appreciation instead of fear. One afternoon, a young housekeeper asked Evelyn the secret to staying calm when people tried to humiliate her. Evelyn smiled as sunlight poured through the windows. "My husband once told me something I'll never forget. Strong people don't prove their strength by breaking others. They prove it by refusing to let bitterness change who they are." If this story touched your heart, please write "Kindness is true strength" in the comments. We'd love to hear from every member of the Kindness Legacy family. Sometimes, the strongest woman in the room isn't the loudest, she isn't the richest, she isn't the one giving orders. She's the one who quietly chooses dignity when everyone else chooses pride, and in the end, that kind of strength is impossible to break. If this story inspired you, please like this video, share it with someone who believes respect costs nothing, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the Kindness Legacy for more heartwarming stories where kindness, courage, and integrity change lives forever.